Hi, my name is Nicole. I'm from Montreal. I was born in a Catholic family, so my experience with God started when I was a kid. I prayed God for many reasons. I was a happy kid in a family of 14 kids. So that's the way it started. So my mom had to believe in God to make 14 kids. That's the start of it. But I took my distance from God as a teenager, and especially because I was always told when I was asking questions to the nuns or the priests, I was always told it's not correct to doubt. You have to believe. You ask too many questions, okay? And when I wanted answers and they didn't have answers, so I said, okay, forget about it. And I took my distance, but at school they taught me that actually life on Earth started with the theory of Darwin, so evolution. So is it God who created everything from nothing, or are we the result of thousands and thousands and billions of years of random changes, and here we are, beautiful human being who might destroy this planet? And then if God doesn't exist, why all that story about God, about Jesus, Buddha, Muhammad, and all the different prophets? There must be some truth somewhere, there must be some explanation. So it stayed in my head for a while. I was not obsessed with that. I was going on with my life. I was teaching mathematics. I was a very rational person. But still the questions were there. And one day a teacher came to me, to my place, and he said, a teacher from my school, and he said, you have to read this book, Nicole. Even if you decide not to talk to me after you read it, I don't care. You have to read those books. So I was intrigued. And the book was The Intelligent Design. So I said, intelligent design, what is this? Intelligence, I like it, must be rational, so I have to read it. And every page of that book helped me to understand all the things that my parents were told to believe, and that my teachers told me but did not understand themselves. So it's like, you know, when you buy a puzzle normally, you have on top of the box, you have the scenery or the baseball game happening, and you see when you put the pieces together, you know at least where you're going with it. But in my head, all that knowledge I had about religions, about archaeology, about life and happiness, all that stuff didn't make sense. I had pieces, and I could never explain everything with a single consistent answer. But when I read The Intelligent Design, finally I said, that's it. This is the explanation. Finally, everything makes sense. It's like all the pieces of the puzzle, I knew where to put this one and put this one, because I had the big picture. So for me, this was the most marvelous experience of my life, because I felt guilty not being Christian, but also I felt like a bad student not believing in science and evolution. So all that time I was not comfortable. But then I finally understood that there was one way to understand the tradition of God. And what I was told as a one single human being doing everything from nothing, an almighty person who only wants love for everyone, that God that was described to me as a kid was actually a group of scientists who created life thanks to science. Then I jumped to science. I said, oh, so we are not here because of random evolution. Those scientists actually were experimenting, and they were progressing in their way of learning about DNA. So they were doing more and more complex kind of plants and animal, and it looks like there was an evolution, but not due to random and billions of years. It was due to their technology and their science. It was discovering how to do things better and more complex. So then, there we go. Evolution, I understand. There we go. I understand the story of God and all the prophets. So in my head, all that knowledge, I was finally in peace with what I learned, because I can finally understand all of that. So Do I believe in God? Not the way I was taught when I was 6 years old. I believe in some human being who were called God by my ancestors, but were called Elohim by the ancestors of the man I'm living with, because he's Jewish. So he knew about Elohim, though I learned about a single God. Then the only difference is that the meaning of Elohim is those who came from the sky. Aha, God was in the sky. And what about Jesus? Jesus always said, my Father is in the sky. So I also remember Yahweh is in the sky. So what's in the sky? When I look at the sky at night, I see stars, which are sun. And around those sun there are planets. And on those planets there are human beings like us, but they are a lot more advanced than us scientifically. And they came to this planet to do a creation of a paradise. And here we are in this paradise. And unfortunately, human being is not always conscious. And we might destroy this beautiful paradise that they built for us. So here I am now. And I hope that the belief in God will stop as soon as possible, because I'm so sad when I see that people kill each other in the name of God. If only they listened to the last prophet that the Elohim sent. Their last prophet, their last messenger, is here now alive, is here to explain all the different religious traditions. And for all of those who want to understand, it's so easy, it's free. Just go on www.rael, RAEL.org. Go to that site, download for free the Intelligent Design. And if you were brought in an Asian country, a Muslim country, a Catholic country, or with no religion at all, it doesn't matter. Reading the explanation of the origin of life, you will explain why so many people think that God exists and what is the true face of God. And, well, I can only share that happiness. Because, you know what, there was one thing I always thought was unfair with the story of God and the Catholic tradition that I have. I was taught that it doesn't matter if you sin, if you're a sinner, as long as you go to a priest and you say, I'm a sinner, and they give you a little prayer to do, then you're okay. And also I know that some people kill, and then they hope that before they die, there will be a priest close to them, and their redemption will be given to them because they really didn't mean to kill. And this kind of tradition means to me that you're not really responsible for what you're doing. And I don't think it's fair. I think we are human beings, and we should take responsibility for the good that we do, but also if we do something bad, we have the responsibility to repair it and do more good to the people that we hurt if we were not careful enough to never hurt anyone. So this belief in God removes the responsibility that human beings should have with their own consciousness. You know, my mother is 80 years old, and she once told me recently, she said, you know what, you don't need to have a religion to be a good person. You just have to listen to your consciousness. And I totally agreed with her. And if everyone, instead of listening to some tradition who tell them you can kill, it doesn't matter, if you do it in the name of God, He will forgive you. What a stupid way of thinking. In the commandments it says, you should not kill. So there is no excuse. We are responsible for everything we do, including inviting the creators of humanity on earth as soon as possible so that we can put all the different races together, and all people from different religions will finally welcome their own prophet who are at this moment living with the Elohim on the planet of the eternal. So I hope that you don't believe in God, and if you have a doubt, go read this book. It might shake your ideas and give you a new input. I'm so happy anyways, being a Raelian, being also, as a woman, a bishop in the Raelian religion. Because for us, the gender has no importance. What's important is your involvement in the mission that Rael accepted, and I'm so proud of being part of it. Enjoy life.
Bravo, Nicole!
Nicole.